Attention passionate Cleveland, Browns fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Cleveland Browns' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Cleveland Browns fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Cleveland, BROWNS FANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. Let's dive into the latest updates surrounding the Cleveland Browns, a team that's been quietly building some intrigue around its roster, especially on the defensive side. You know, it's been a bit of a roller coaster season for Cleveland. Last year, we saw a defense that was dominant at times, ranked #1 in the league, and then, just like that, the following season, signs of slippage started to show. That's not unusual in the NFL, especially with a team that's trying to juggle cap space, roster flexibility, and the challenging task of roster rebuilds. But the real question is, what are the Browns doing now to address these issues? So if we take a step back and look at their offseason moves, it's evident that Cleveland's front office prioritized the offense. It makes sense. You've got to score points to win games, and the Browns' offensive struggles last season were pretty glaring. Quarterback Jacoby Brissett, and later Deshaun Watson, struggled with consistency, putting a lot of pressure on the defense to carry the team. With that in mind, the Browns didn't make a lot of big splashes on defense this offseason. They did, however, pick up Mason Graham in the first round of the draft, a promising defensive lineman out of Michigan. Graham is an athletic, versatile player, and many fans are excited about how he might develop into a key piece on that defensive line. But let's be honest, a single draft pick isn't enough to patch all the holes, especially considering how the defense performed last year. The defensive unit, which was so dominant in 2023, started to show some cracks last season. We saw opponents getting through the line more easily, big plays happening in crucial moments, and the secondary sometimes struggling to contain the pass. Cleveland's defense has historically been a strong suit, especially with players like Myles Garrett anchoring the pass rush. But even the best defenses need reinforcements, and that's where the latest buzz comes in. There's a lot of talk about what the Browns might still do in free agency, particularly on the back end of the defense, with the safety position being a prime target. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Bleacher Report's Kurt Benkert, a former NFL quarterback turned analyst, recently highlighted a potential move that could shake things up for Cleveland. He pointed out the possibility of signing Julian Blackmon, a safety who's still available in free agency. Blackmon's name has been floating around for a while now, and despite having a solid 2024 campaign with the Indianapolis Colts, he remains unsigned. That's a bit surprising, considering his performance and age. Blackmon, just 26 years old, played in all 16 games last season, and he was a key contributor to the Colts' secondary. He racked up 86 tackles, which is quite impressive for a safety, and he also snagged 3 interceptions, showing his ball-hawking ability, and defended 4 passes. His coverage grade from Pro Football Focus was 73.5, which is respectable and indicates he's capable of holding his own in pass coverage. And let's not forget, the safety position is crucial in today's NFL. Whether it's defending against explosive passing offenses or providing run support, a versatile safety like Blackmon can be a game changer. The good news for Cleveland is that they now have some cap space available, thanks to post-June 1 cuts and roster adjustments. They can afford to bring in a player of Blackmon's caliber on a 1-year deal, giving them flexibility and the chance to evaluate him alongside their existing roster. The Browns have been known for making shrewd moves in free agency before, and adding a young, talented safety like Blackmon could be exactly what they need to solidify their secondary. Now, it's worth mentioning that Blackmon was a third-round pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, selected by the Colts, and since then, he's been a steady presence in their defense. His development has been promising, and he's still young enough to improve further. For Cleveland, filling that safety spot with someone who has proven he can be productive at the NFL level makes a lot of sense. The Browns have some young talent at safety, but they lack that veteran presence who can be a leader in the backfield, especially one with Blackmon's experience and skill set. Of course, this potential signing is part of a bigger picture. Cleveland is still trying to build a balanced roster that can contend not just for the division, but for a deep playoff run. The AFC North is fiercely competitive, with teams like the Cincinnati Bengals, Baltimore Ravens, and Pittsburgh Steelers all vying for supremacy. The Ravens, in particular, have retooled their roster, and Cincinnati remains a threat with Joe Burrow leading an explosive offense. So, the Browns need to be proactive, making smart moves to stay ahead of the curve. And it's not just about filling gaps. Cleveland's coaching staff has emphasized the importance of scheme versatility and creating a defense that can adapt to different offensive attacks. Adding a player like Blackmon, who can play both in coverage and support the run, gives defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz more options. Schwartz has a reputation for being a defensive mastermind, and with the right personnel, he can craft a unit that's tough, disciplined, and unpredictable. Now, let's talk about some other pieces that are rumored or expected to join the Browns soon. The draft was a step in the right direction, but it's clear that Cleveland might still be looking to make a splash in free agency. Besides Blackmon, some fans are eyeing veterans who can bring leadership and stability, especially at linebacker and safety. The Browns have also been linked to some offensive upgrades, but it's the defense that needs the most immediate attention. A solid safety like Blackmon could plug a significant hole, especially if the team wants to return to their dominant ways from 2023. And speaking of the 2023 season, it's worth revisiting what went right and what went wrong. Cleveland started strong, with a promising roster and a lot of hope from fans. Myles Garrett was in top form, terrorizing quarterbacks, and the defense looked like a true strength. But as the season progressed, injuries and inconsistent performances on offense started to weigh down the team's chances. The offense, despite some flashes of brilliance from Watson and the receivers, struggled to sustain drives, which put more pressure on the defense to keep them in games. That's why this offseason is so critical. The Browns need to strike a balance between bolstering the defense and continuing to develop their offensive chemistry. The addition of a player like Blackmon could serve as a catalyst to make the secondary more reliable, freeing up the front seven to focus on pressuring the quarterback. It's a chess game, and Cleveland is carefully positioning itself to make the right moves. Now, fans, I want to shift gears a little and talk about the broader picture. Cleveland has always been a team with a passionate fan base, known for their loyalty and resilience. The Browns' history is filled with ups and downs, but right now, there's a sense of optimism. The team's front office has been aggressive when needed, and their draft picks and free agency decisions seem more calculated than ever. The potential signing of Julian Blackmon could be a step towards the consistency and competitiveness that Browns fans have been craving for years. And as we look ahead, there's a lot to be excited about. The AFC North won't give Cleveland any breaks, but if they can make a couple more smart moves, maybe add a veteran linebacker, improve the offensive line, and get some more depth at wide receiver, the team could be in a great position to contend. Remember, the league is all about momentum, and a single signing or draft pick can sometimes turn a team's fortunes around completely. So, Browns fans, stay tuned, because the offseason is far from over. There are still moves to be made, and every little step counts in the quest for that elusive Super Bowl. Cleveland has shown that they're not afraid to make bold decisions, and the potential signing of Julian Blackmon could be one of those game-changing moves. The division will be tough, but if the Browns play their cards right, they could rise above and leave their rivals scrambling. As we wrap up this deep dive into Cleveland's current state and future plans, I just want to remind everyone that this team is built on passion, resilience, and a relentless drive to succeed. The Browns are on the rise, and every fan has a role in that journey. So keep believing, keep supporting, and stay engaged because the best is yet to come. Remember, the NFL season never truly ends. It's a year-round passion, and Cleveland is ready to make some noise once again. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Cleveland Browns news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. Looking ahead, the Browns are in a position to really shape their destiny in the coming months. The NFL offseason is always filled with surprises, and Cleveland's front office has shown they're willing to be aggressive when it matters most. Whether it's through signing underrated free agents like Blackmon or making bold trades that could shake up the league, the Browns are setting the stage for a potential resurgence. Fans should be watching closely because every move counts. And finally, I want to emphasize how important the fan community is. Cleveland Browns fans are some of the most dedicated in the NFL, and your voice matters. Whether you're watching from Cleveland, around the country, or even abroad, your passion fuels the team. As we head into this crucial offseason, let's continue to support the Browns through thick and thin. The journey to another Super Bowl is not just about the players and coaches. It's about all of us coming together as a family, unified in our love for this team. So keep your eyes peeled for updates, stay positive, and remember, the Browns are always on the rise. This offseason, we might see some surprises, maybe a big-name safety like Julian Blackmon donning the brown and orange. The future is bright, and Cleveland is once again positioning itself for greatness. Thanks for tuning in, Browns fans, and I'll be back soon with even more breaking news, analysis, and updates. Until then, keep the faith, keep the passion alive, and let's get ready for what promises to be an exciting season ahead.